Hey guys, I have a Moodle book on this topic, but I had just put together this slideshow for my in-person classes and decided I might as well do a quick lecture video recording for you in case that's a better way for you to receive the information. So this is my presentation on keywords. Okay, go. Ah. Just as a reminder, the main topic is about your identity, your sense of who you are, your self-image, all of that stuff that we've covered in previous videos. And that if you haven't picked something yet, remember to think about all of these different areas of your life, your beliefs and values, your family, personality, history, where you grew up, your interests, all of that kind of stuff. And any of those pieces can be the focus of your topic. Some example topics, I've gone through this in other videos, so I won't spend too much time here. Just as a reminder though, there's a lot of variety, and the ones that seem kind of narrow and small actually often end up being the best. So be sure to look outside the box if you need to. If you're really struggling to pick, I suggest that you just pick the topic of student. Everyone that's taking this class is a student, and what's interesting about that is everyone probably has slightly different experiences and a different take on what that means. So if you all end up writing about being a student, they would all be different and probably equally interesting papers. So the main point of this presentation is to talk about how to find articles about your topic. It's possible to find articles just typing in the prompt. What does it mean to be a blank? What does it mean to be a student is the one that I typed in there. A lot of the stuff that came up were just dictionary definitions. If you look at this, there's all of these student definitions. We do have this interesting source right up here. But I think I need to work on getting something a little more precise. So one of the ways that you can do this is to consider different synonyms and different types of keywords that you can use to create searches that provide you specialized and particular sources for you. So what are keywords? They're the central terms that you will use to search for research on your topic. A lazy Google search will often get you something, but you'll often end up with pay for plagiarism, web pages, random blogs by people who aren't experts, and articles from a long time ago. Instead, we want to try to play with using terms that are really specific to this paper. So you'll need two sets of keywords, one set related to identity in some way, and then another set that refers to your particular identity. So for the sake of practice, I'm looking at the keyword student and identity so that we can just have something to play with. So again, we want to try to find synonyms associated with both sets of those two topics that we're focusing on. So you can try lots of varieties. So some synonyms associated with identity, and you should take notes because you'll need to use these too, are personality, character, self, sense of self, self-concept, and also roles, values, and beliefs might also help you here. Those are a little bit tangential, but they still may help. Synonyms associated with student that you can use as alternatives are learner, scholar, college student, university student, or academic. There may be more, but those are some that I came up with. As you're working on finding sources, play with different variations if you're not finding anything. You can go more and more narrow to make your topic more specific by doing something like State University student, or even Idaho State University student. That will be more limited. You can also broaden your sources and make the topic more general by searching just for learner or just student. You'll get a lot more sources this way. And it just depends on where you are and what you're looking for and what you need to make your paper as successful as possible. So once you have some identified keywords, start playing around with them in different combinations. You can start simple. Partially just plug it into Google and see what happens. You can orient yourself and maybe come up with some other terms once you do that. You can also look for synonyms on Wikipedia. So when I typed identity into Wikipedia, you can see all of these other different subcategories of identity. There's identity related to culture, identity politics, national identity, and then party identification, which refers to politics. So there's all kinds of different types of identity, and you might find it helpful to focus in on one of those. So when we get into the search engine or database or catalog, we'll want to use and to connect your search terms. So for instance, I started off by searching student and identity in Google. Another thing that you can do to limit your results is to use the word not, or the minus sign. So why you might want to do that is if like you're looking for identity and you get a whole bunch of articles on identity theft. That's not what we want. In order to limit those results and get rid of the stuff about identity theft, you can type student and identity minus theft. And that's what you do when you do it in Google. If you're in the library catalog or the library databases, you would use the word not. So student and identity, not theft. Excuse me. Another thing that you can do, it's a trick that you can use in Google and the databases, is to use quotation marks to force phrases together. So when you're searching for college students, you put the quotation mark and it looks for that full phrase in that order. It ensures that those two words appear exactly as written and that exact phrase. So when you look up, for instance, Star Wars, put it in quotation marks so that you can get the movie, the whole series of movies, rather than wars that happen in the stars or something like that. Or they would search both of those words separately otherwise. That's why we use quotation marks. Again, when we have our synonyms, we have all these synonyms, you can do them as individual searches, but you can also set them up in your search so that it searches for all the synonyms at once. And the way that you do that is by connecting the synonyms within parentheses and then separating them by an or. So in this case, in my example, I have college students or university students. Because these are synonyms, or these are forced together phrases, I have them in quotation marks, but you could just do students or learners, something like that. But in either case, you still need to put parentheses around. So it'd be students, or parentheses, students, or learners, parentheses. And then once you kind of have a string and you've figured some stuff out, you can try putting it into a complete search. So you have exactly like what we've done, parentheses, college students or university students, and identity, not theft. And hopefully that will bring you in to some sources that would be helpful for you. A couple things to note about this. If you are in the library databases, this works for all of them, with the main, with one thing being here, we want to make sure that not is taken out. Something that you may notice here is that I've added another item to the list on both of these. I wrote "and drive." What is that? That is a subtopic. So sometimes you may need to also mine your subtopics to get some keywords, some subtopics that may come up with student is things like the love of learning, curiosity, self-motivation, or drive. So you may be thinking, how do I generate subtopics? One way is to just ask yourself, why is this identity important to me? Your answer will probably put you in touch with some possible subtopics. So you might say something like, because it helps me to do X, or because X. And whatever that X is, it might be a cluster of keywords that you can use to research. So when you start using some of these subtopics to do your research, you may find all kinds of interesting things. So when I looked up curiosity, there's a whole Wikipedia page that actually connects curiosity with drive, those two together. So that's something really helpful to do, and could be really helpful for a paper on the student identity. And so now we have all these different pieces. Now it's just about playing mix and match. We're out in the sandbox trying different things. What happens when you combine college student with Philomath in a Google search? Is there overlap between identity and curiosity? Are all college students people who are highly motivated and driven? All of these kinds of questions you can play with in your searching. That being said, after all of this work trying to find the perfect keywords, really, there's sometimes you can't force the serendipity or the luck that happens when you just come across the perfect source. Sometimes I have to be out in the stacks and I'll be going along, looking at books, trying to find a book, and then I see a title that jumps out to me and I pull it down and I'm like, what? This is what I needed. And I hadn't found it in any database or any Google search at all. And so sometimes you just have to start doing it and you'll find what you need. Something to take a look at again is all of the sources that ISU has. They have a YouTube channel. They have a more in-depth Boolean keyword search video you can watch. They also have a video about combining multiple searches together. Please use our library resources. And now I'll turn you over to the activity. There's a link to that with a number of instructions to help you finish it, and that's all you need to do. So good luck on finding keywords, and I will see you next time you watch a video with me.